moving on, we have a very, very special guest with us today from the organization Indian Space Research Organization, which is driving the space initiatives of India. And it gives me immense pleasure to welcome Dr. T.P. Sasikumar, former scientist, Space Application Center, ISRO, Ahmedabad. Sir, we are waiting to hear you, to listen from you, the words of wisdom. Over to you, Dr. T.P. Sasikumar, sir.
Namaskaram, Namaskaram, Sheelan Mishra. I don't know from where did you get my contact, because just now I heard Queen Elizabeth mentioning lot of names. Most of the time I keep meeting all these people in different platforms. But somewhere, somehow, somebody took my name, and thank you for that. I congratulate all the awardees. The YUVA Incubated KITES is a new platform. I never heard about it. But yesterday when the call came, I was parallelly Googling to find out the activities, and I found that the leaders of this great innovative idea of innovative educators are doing a good job. Connecting people and hearing somebody who is from Sri Lanka, who was into education, and saying that it is almost 25 years. Yeah, good. Nice to be into education for long years. I am not a teacher or educator in your format. I don't have a graduation in education. I only wrote a book on adaptive learning. It says your pedagogies and practices need to be adaptive to the situations. And when I say adaptive to the situations, most of the people started talking about 21st century. It's a foolish word to be used in education, because industry can go maybe 100 years change. Education should be much faster, number one. 20 years of century would have been slower, but 21st century is too fast. You cannot use the same century scale. It must be decades you have to speak. So I don't speak about 21st century today. I only speak about third decade of 21st century. So I call it as I am a speaker of 3 to 1. I am not a 21st century speaker at all, because I move very fast. I always love to see, and I pathetically should tell teachers are the most slowest people in the world, because any change they take very slowly. I am saying this because I have seen from Fiji to United States of America. That means I have seen the whole globe. Pacific Ocean to Indian Ocean, this side and the other side, including UK. Probably Sri Lanka I have not reached, but I have seen a lot of teachers from Sri Lanka who are coming to India to study from institutes like KIDA, including administrators, all the collectors. I spoke to most of them, and I did a pure survey of whole Sri Lanka. Every bridge and roads are known to me for specific reasons in which I am working. So I am a satellite person who looks at without boundaries the whole globe. So I'll tell you what is not happening, whatever I am doing today in space department. Most of you are educators. I don't know how many of you have seen a scientist working. What they learned in the classrooms are all useless. Whatever you teach in classrooms are never used in a job which they do. I keep making fun of telling that you are a zoology teacher. Not even cutting chicken or mutton or fish, they use their zoology knowledge. So what is essentially required? It is told in the website purely in the... I'm so happy to see the website, the YUVA Incubated, beautiful name, and the name of the organization like KITES. I'm so happy to see the quotations which talks about the Subhashitam, which is very famous in India. Vidya Viveko Vitnanam Smriti Tatparata Kriyaha Ya Yasyatai Shat Gunas samstasya na sadhya madi vartate. Nothing can achieve if you don't have vidya, knowledge, vivekam, logic. Okay, vijnanam, science, little bit is being given in classrooms. Memory cannot be given. Those who have, they will understand. Those who don't have, they don't understand at all. And readiness, attitude is nil. Most of the time what education does is they keep or kill their attitude. That is what is happening in today's education. Except I am talking about Indian situation. I know most of the West. I have been in America, and then students used to come to learn from me. So I have some experience of, I've been to UK. I spoke to students in UK. And ability to function, real life situations are never taught in classrooms. It's only theoretical, and it needs to be changed. Is it lack of innovative teachers? It's not. The system do not allow them to change. In India, last year is considered to be a great change, innovative change in education, and people say new education policy. And I must have given hundreds of lectures in different, not in school education alone. I work with the UGC, University Grants Commission, who is controlling the higher education. I was director for teachers education in the highest education in India. And I keep talking to most of them. Sometimes I quote what is being told soon after independence in India, and you compare what is today being told in the new education policy. You see, policy based nothing is different. What is different is the way in which is implemented to get diluted. That is what is happening. So what is to be done? It is not the system, it is not the government, it is not the industry. It's all in the hands of teachers. And we keep saying all the 6 qualities which is required to say, that will work only when you have udyamam, sahasam, dhairyam, buddhi, shakti, parakramam, shadhede yatra vartande. These 6 qualities are required. You need to have a good planning. Planning is not what is must. Jump into action. We lack into action. That is what is happening. People keep talking about innovation. You don't require to be great innovators. I'll tell you, even in higher education, when we have a dissertation or thesis, most of them are not innovations. They're all hooked up to get a degree. So it is not innovation. Slight improvisation is good enough. And I must have taught millions of teachers, and hardly we see 1 or 2 teachers who come back to us to learn better. See, I know that I'm speaking little faster now, but I don't know how many of you will come back and ask, oh, what did you say? Do you have any question? If you do this in an industry, definitely they will come back. Teachers, they don't come back. When I go to industry to teach, I carry a lot of my books because they buy books. Teachers, no. You go to the best principal's room, you will see only trophies behind because they believe in awards, not in education. Only one school probably out of thousands where I have seen books behind them. And I say, I adore you because I'm seeing books behind you. Because most of the teachers believe becoming famous is much more important than getting knowledge. It is not. If you can change one person, I keep saying we have a great speaker who was Swami Vivekananda, who spoke in the Parliament of Religions 150 years back. I keep telling he is not great, his teacher is great, because the teacher made him like that. It is not teacher, it's the mentor who made him like that. So what is required? You need to get a good blessings. And how do you get it? You need to be a good leader who understands. And we don't make a country is not changed because of, see, in India, probably we have 8.5 million teachers. Do you think at least 85 of them are innovative? I will fall on their feet, I'll tell you. The whole world has got 62 million teachers until 2 years back. Now, you know, for last 2 years, it has become 30% extra, 50% extra, almost 94 million. Can you imagine? The education has become the biggest business in which the product is never evaluated perfectly. You give only certificates. After every program, you get certificates. Education has become only giving certificates. And especially in India, we have 5-year-old child getting into a school, and up to 20 years, 15 years, they are being arrested into the walls of rooms. They don't see the world at all. Engineers are never exposed to a factory. I remember 15 years back when I wanted to teach an engineering college, I got trained myself going to different factories to look at how the machine works. I don't know how many engineering teachers. I keep telling an engineering teacher who is teaching electrical engineering never can repair their own electrical machines at home. So what practical ability the teachers have? And you mean that they will give practical teaching to the students? I pity them. See, there is a concept in India called masters in higher levels. And Acharya is the greatest level. Who is an Acharya? Yadyada jaradisrashta tatta devedarochana sayat pramanam gurude lokastad anuvartade. People will look at somebody saying, oh, I am seeing a great teacher. Let me follow him. Why he becomes he gets followers? Because he is a practical teacher who does what he says. I have not seen mathematics teachers solving math. I am a mathematician. Basically, my degree doctorate is in mathematics. It is not solving mathematics is important. How fast you will solve mathematics is important. How do you make mathematics so simple so that everybody can understand? No, that will come only when you have questions. I keep going to students with a lot of equipments. When I teach teachers, I show them. See, this is a square, only 4 feet perimeter. I can just twist it and make a circle and 2 pi r. How many of you have visualized it like this? I don't see. I'm a scientist basically turned into a teacher. So what do we do is innovation. People keep on talking about innovation. Bharatiya Shastram, education goddess is Saraswati. And Saraswati's husband is Brahma. And Brahma is one who is the god of research. So always it says research and education should go together. But how many teachers do research? They only reproduce. They don't produce knowledge. They have become only a recorded version, mugging up and then speaking. Stupid. If teacher cannot be that, I am sure if you are going to deliver what is there written in the textbook, never do that. You have to be somebody who is beyond the textbook. So I am not a person who use PowerPoints, because I remember I wanted to give PowerPoints maybe 10 years, 15, 20 years back. When I started, I used PowerPoints. Now I don't do that. I use powerful points. And that powerful points which comes from people who speak just beside me. So if I listen to 2 people, that's good enough for me to direct what I have to speak. So I'm not pre-prepared. What is innovation? Innovation is you be with the time, change very fast. I'm a mentor. And I don't teach subjects. I teach how to learn. You give me a student who don't like maths, physics, chemistry, languages. I will make him to love that subject. So I'm a marketing person for education. I write all my books are called Life, L-I-F-E. I keep saying L-I-F-E, life is live in full enjoyment. And life is learn in full enjoyment. And learning is an investment for future earning. Don't talk about education which gives you job. Education is not for giving job. Education is a big character for human being. No dog will give lecture, no dogs will listen to this. So if somebody is listening, that you are a human being. So what is the character of education? Education is who collects data and then give it to the next generation so that people can get it. So I am an educator. Ahara nidra bhaya maithunani samani chaitani nirnam pashunam gnanam naranam adhiko vishesho gnane bihina pashuvisam. Gnanam is knowledge. Only human being have the ability to gain knowledge. Aharam, food, nidra, sleep, bhayam, the worry, and maithunam, sex. All these are common for everybody. But human being have a great ability to learn something extra. And if you are not learning, you are not a human being. And people started selling it, saying to get a job, you should learn. Bharatiya Shastram, Indian tradition, also kept saying that you should have knowledge to get job. But that is called avidya, not good knowledge. What is required is savidya, how to live with the society. And we keep talking about EQ, IQ. All these are not. We have 5-fold development: physical, intellectual, emotional, social, spiritual. How do you become analytical, logical, reasoning ability, and how logic can be used in solving your practical real life problems? I loved that word, or maybe the company who is named as KITES. I remember in a movie, one of the movies from my regional language, Malayalam, the actor says, children have to be brought up like kites. Allow them to fly as much as they want. but always keep the thread beside you. Have a control, and so that you can direct them in the right place. So teachers and parents should only play the role of directing them, but no freedom is given to students. Education, job market, education for educators, education for administrators, education for entrepreneurs, business. What for? From age 3 to grade 3, we talk about a lot of changes in education last 2 years which happened. Age 3 to grade 3, the young child who is supposed to be socially active, they become totally inactive. We have not given anything to them. See, we have ignored the young children who are supposed to be, no online education catered to them perfectly well. So what has happened? They lost their life. And you will see the effect of this. I'm a psychotherapist. You will see the effect of this when they become teenagers. Today morning I was talking to the Namibian students. Today is an African day. I don't know how many of you know it is Africa's industrialization day. And how many of you know that today is Universal Children's Day? And I arranged a program as part of my foundation, which is called the Social Craft Foundation, who is talking to different countries, not advertising too much. Find out a few children, 100 of them, 10 of them, who can communicate with me directly to understand what is the real life problem, and I can change somebody there. Make a change in those people. And if I can do that, I am doing a great service. So I was talking to students from Namibia to find out what can be done. World Social Craft Foundation is organizing. Today, soon after that, now after 1 hour, I have got a program which is called Music Gathering. So we have international people joining from different countries. Brazil, Argentina, Africa, India, all of them are singing together. You see, it's all part of education. But that education should be totally informal, not textbook based. See, basically, we have got schools for parents. Most of the private institutions are for parents because their demand is, it has to be like this. Government institutions in India, most of them to give jobs for many teachers so that it is a good employer. That's it. For students, we don't have schools at all. I don't know how many of you know that India celebrated November 11th as the National Education Day. And that was on the birthday of Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. And he was not an Indian at all. He took birth in Makkah, Saudi Arabia. And his mother was from Afghanistan, shifted to Bangladesh. And he was our first education minister in India. And he started University Grants Commission. He started the first NIT Manit in the center of India. And he was never educated in schools. He was a home educated man. Is it not a great message from India? We had the greatest academician who visioned the Indian education, who never went to classrooms. And still we do. All the students in India are kept in classrooms up to 20 years. I will tell you, if that is not compulsory and put them into like a jail in classrooms, India will progress much better than any other country in the world. Because everywhere evolution happened, change happened only with the youth power. And that youth power is being unnecessarily kept inside classrooms. And we have a great poet from Kerala who says, at the age of 15, after 10th grade, children have to be thrown to the street. Let them come back after 2 years to find out whether they want to learn or not. That is what is required. But I am sure this will not happen because political system will not allow it, teachers will not allow it, parents will not allow it. So what do? We have an education system who cater to millions of teachers. But you know, in India, 3 times or 4 times larger private organizations are running. How to improve the situation? And they are earning money. And what is being paid by parents and students in the private tuition centers is much higher than what is being spent by government in education. If that can be contributed to the development of the youth, development of the teachers, revamping the education system, I am sure that will happen, but this is a big business. I conduct a lot of camps in my hometown, which is a small house in a Kerala, which is 200-year-old house. What do? I bring children from different parts of the world and they spend a lot of time. And what do we teach them? Real life skill. How to wash clothes, how to garden, how to climb trees. You can see DrTPS, that's my name. Short name is Dr. DrTPS, teachers, parents, students. Don't forget my name because I represent TPS, teachers, parents, and students. Fortunately, that became my name, right? And what do we do there? We dance, we have music, we have cooking, we have drama, social skill. Task is given who comes from different part of the world to go around the village and talk to people and make 200 friends and come back from morning till evening. So where do I eat? You eat whichever house, wherever they give. That is relationship building. We don't believe in having people only for selfish. No. We have a role, we have a goal, we have a value. If you can balance it, you become very fit for the practical world. And that definition with a good attitude is what is required for people. December 5th, maybe next 2 weeks, if everything goes well, I'm sure I'm in a garden in Hyderabad to have Vanabhojan. Vanam means forest. Eat in the forest is a celebration in India. Because this month the end with a lot of living with the farm. I tell people to come to such farms, and many of the MNC companies, international company people started working home. I keep telling, don't work from home. Go to farm and work. Don't make all the company people to work from home. Ask them to go to farm, work for some time physically, and you become so flexible. And that is what is education. Education requirement is to make people flexible. And if you can do that, I'm sure you as an educator who is wetting your hands, doing work, you will be able to become good teachers. But I am sure teachers, whatever happens, this book I wrote 15 years back asking teachers how to become digital. No takers were there. 15 years back nobody wanted to learn this digital education. But now today, last 2 years, Professor COVID, thanks to him, he made all the teachers at least to present PowerPoint on Google Meet. That's it. And don't think that is innovative education. Innovative education is not PowerPoint presentation. How many of you know augmented reality? How many of you know how to use artificial intelligence in teaching? And the other day, I was giving teachers training program and then people said, is it that simple? I said, it's very simple. Beside you, you want a tiger? It's very simple for you. So you have to become adaptive to the technology, but don't think that you are making a lot of difference, because what Bharatiya Shastram, Indian tradition told is what is having a good mentor to teach. We had two people, Duryodhana and Dharmaputra. I'm sure these characters are not that new for Indians, but others it may be. Come back to me, I'll teach you a good lesson. So it says we have the largest war which happened in the world history. Two wars. One is Ramayana and another one is Mahabharata. These two are the epics, mythological epics in India, in which I will only quote probably the Mahabharata, which have got same family members. Duryodhana and Dharmaputra, they are the fighters. They studied from same school, same teachers taught to them. So it says teachers cannot make good people and bad people. And there are two good people and bad people fighting. What difference it made? One had a bad mentor, another had a good mentor. That is why people remembering this person is very good, Dharmaputra is very good. Dharmaputra means a person of virtues. Adharmaputra is a person of no virtues. So I'm sure this changes. And before that also we had, Rama was upset when he was a teenager, 17 years, he said, my father is not at all good. So immediately what he did was he was sent to a psychotherapist, and that psychotherapist made him very good and come back. He was the mentor. I remember in my book Life Made Simple, I said at 3 years age you ask a child who is the best person in the world, they will tell my LKG teacher, primary teacher, nursery teacher is the best one in the world. When they become 15 years, you ask them who is your enemy, they will show the teachers and say they are my enemies. Their parents are their enemies. So what is that education we are providing? We are not even making to love their own family. So it needs to be revamped, but not a policy, at least a few good teachers. That makes the whole world different. I was given time up to 6:35. The first message was 6:20 to 6:20 to 6:40. The second message was 6:15 to 6:35. I wish some question from somebody. All seminars, I think only lectures happens. I believe lectures should not happen. But I have to, because you never know. But I wish one good question from somebody would make some difference in every conferences, right? Otherwise, it's only reading something, talking something, which you can also look at my YouTube. You will get more explanations on all the slokas what I already gave. Thank you. God bless you. Inshallah. See you somewhere. ഈശ്വരാനുഗ്രഹം ഉണ്ടാവട്ടെ. എല്ലാവർക്കും നന്ദി നമസ്കാരം for this hosting me, a unknown person. I don't think anybody knows here. Only I have seen few people at here and there, but I'm so glad somewhere you picked up a person who is not as famous as great people who spoke earlier. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for such a wonderful session. In fact, the kind of questions we are asking and seeking answers for, you have given us the solutions for those questions. And yes, as rightly said, we are saying a lot of things in theory, but you have showed us the path to practice. I think your speech has opened our eyes and have also told us that how important it is for us to be more practical than just reading or giving lectures through the books. So amazing, sir. And in fact, I would like to say you inspired us towards that be a change that you want to see in the world, as said by Mahatma Gandhi ji. So, sir, you are the change, and we have. It has been our pleasure and proud privilege to interact with you today. Thank you so much for your talk. Thank you. And now, let's move on ahead with our next event, which is the panel discussion on innovative educators of 21st century. And I think let's leave it at innovative educators, maybe, because as sir rightly said, why should we limit ourselves to the century? We should think of being practical eternally. And our esteemed panelist members are Ms. Tracy from Nigeria, Ms. Vilma Jha from Brazil, Ms. Shabna Mosti from Bangladesh, and Patricia Gonte from Zimbabwe. May I request Ms. Tracy to kindly share your views? Do we have Ms. Tracy here?
Oh, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak at this summit. It was really mind-blowing listening to Dr. TP as he gave his take on education, and it went a long way to open our eyes to several things that are happening where education is concerned. I would equally like to add a few things. I see education to be the process whereby we're able to teach people to think critically and to think intensively in order to arrive at certain solutions. Now, Dr. TP made a statement. He says we shouldn't really focus on the innovative educator. So I would like to remove innovative from my speech and just focus on who I feel an educator should be, especially in this time and age. I would like to talk about several characteristics I feel an educator should possess in order for them to be productive in their field of endeavor. Now, Dr. TP, I keep going back to Dr. TP because he said a whole lot. He mentioned a lot of things about educators, and he spoke about certain instances where we have educators who fail to improve, on who they should be in order to be able to give a better output to students. Now, when we talk about these characteristics for educators, first of all, I believe that an educator should be creative. An educator should be able to think outside the box. An educator should be able to harness and to nurture the creativity of their students. This is very, very paramount. I believe that an educator should be collaborative. Take, for example, what we're having today, the summit we're having today. We're having several people from different parts of the world coming together. And I believe that at the end of this summit, we would all be living with one vision which brings about uniformity. So if educators can come together to be collaborative in order to create a common vision, it would go very far. I believe that educators should be courageous. They should have that ability to embrace new trends. Yes, we've seen what is happening in the world today with online education that has become the norm. And just like the first speaker said, if an educator is not able to adapt to what is taking place in the world today, you get left out of the happy. So yes, an educator should be courageous with the ability to embrace new trends. An educator should be curious with the ability to be inquisitive, to want to learn more, to want to know more, to be open-minded, to have that mindset to embrace new changes and embrace new trends. Educators should equally be connected through access to the latest training programs in order to learn better, through community-oriented programs, whatever it is that will bring about a professional development. I believe an educator should be willing and be ready to learn more. An educator should equally be compassionate. Take, for example, what is happening with COVID-19. This has stressed out a lot, not just teachers. This is a lot of stress and pressure on students, and some of them are finding it very difficult to cope with education as it is at the moment. So if an educator isn't compassionate enough to be able to reach out to these students to help them through the process, it's going to be very difficult with not just the teacher, but the students as well. So I believe an educator should be compassionate. An educator should remain committed. They should remain committed to their life ambition of being an educator by being passionate about what it is they're into, by conducting research, by being open-minded, by being willing to learn and to move with the flow. And they should equally realize that they are change agents. Educators are catalysts to bring about important changes. And when I'm talking about educators here, I don't just mean in the formal sector, I mean in the informal sector, because Dr. TP was talking about children we have today who only have the mindset about what happened in the four walls of their school, and then when you take them out of the school, they find it difficult to be able to live up to life challenges. So when we're talking about this, the educators being change agents, it's not just helping them in the formal sector, but equally in the informal sector and the other parts of life. So next, basically, I believe that this educator should have these 7 C's, which is being creative, being collaborative, being courageous, being curious, being connected, being compassionate, committed, and equally change agent. Yes, this goes a long way. And then this brings us to the students. Now we have a situation whereby through this formal education system, standard of education has become standardized and proceduralized in such a manner that there's this uniform vision. So now students find it very difficult to break out of this zone. And then you have a situation like what we're seeing in COVID-19, where you come out and you feel your degree is going to do something for you, and then the world has turned upside down, and you find out that that degree is not your meal ticket to being who it is you're supposed to be. So I believe that this changes the system of education, and it comes to that process where we're not just teaching the children about education, but we should teach them about the capacity to be able to study and to self-learn for themselves. When they have the capacity to study, when they have the capacity to self-learn, it removes a lot of pressure from the students and enables the teachers to, it takes off a whole chunk of responsibility from the teachers, and it affords the students the opportunity to be able to think for themselves. Now, social media has made it very easy for students to be able to gather information, and I believe that takes away that targeted approach. Students can be able to gather as much information as is needed through reading, and through gathering of this information, they can spend time feeding on information in order to identify the right information that is needed at any point in time. Now, when they're able to identify this right information, they can now create new content for themselves. The process of creating a new content brings about a development of their mindset. It brings about a development of their skill set as well. When they're able to create new content, it now gets to the process where they now be able to communicate this content. And this is another part of education, because still believe that education should be in such a manner that it affects the child both intellectually, both academically, both socially, both emotionally, both culturally, and financially. Now, if a child is able to do these things I've been able to do, and I get to that process where they are able to communicate content persuasively, it means that they've been able to have, they've been able to help themselves socially. Now, when they're able to communicate content persuasively through harnessing their social skills, and they're able to put themselves out there, then it gets to that point where when they get feedback, they will have the ability to make corrections with that feedback. And then this produces a situation whereby a child or a student is not just dependent on what is learned in the four walls of the school, but they are versatile, they're able to open their mind, and they're able to be able to fit into whatever it is they find themselves at any point in time. I believe that for the new situation that we found ourselves and in the future, I believe that teachers and students, the way of teaching should be changed. And I believe that with this point, the situation should definitely be better.
All right, so thank you so much, Ms. Tracy, for sharing your wonderful views on the education and the educators. And may I now invite, and I also request all the other panelists to just, also mark the timing so that we can maintain the timings for all our later award ceremony as well. Over to Ms. Vilma da Luz Barbosa, English teacher, Santa Catarina, Brazil.
Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure being here with you all. May I share my screen, please? Can you see my screen?
Alex, so Amin, can you please give the sharing options? Can you check, Ms. Vilma? Is it enabled for you? Not yet?
Is it visible?
Yes, we can see it now. Yes.
Thank you so much. So today let's talk a little bit about innovative educators, the key of future education. What should we do as teachers to have a better future for education? First of all, we have to open up lessons. So we can teach anymore today just inside the limit of our classrooms, inside the walls, just using books, as some of our colleagues said, because students want more than that. Today with technology, they want more than just come to classes and listen to the teacher and complete the exercises that are on the books. So we have to provide that for them. We have to create a different kind of activities in order they become more active, in order they become more confident and willing to learn. And the second and most important thing, we have to think outside the classroom box. What is that? In a traditional way, some years ago, the way we were taught, teachers were in front of the classroom and students were sitting in a row, learning, listening to the teacher, and the teacher was the center of the knowledge. But today, with technology, students know much more than us about many, many things. So we have to teach in a different way. We have to find ways to bring them more motivated, because if they are just sitting in their chairs for 3, 4 hours, 5 hours, they won't be motivated at all, and that will be boring for them. So the teacher has to think outside the box. It has to create different kind of activities to motivate the students. Here it was an activity for Halloween, and my students were supposed to bring pumpkins to learn how to carve pumpkins. And then some people were asking me, Vilma, what are you doing? You teach English. What are you doing with this pumpkin thing? But I was teaching them about culture. I was teaching them about how to deal with different things, and they were motivated. They were practicing their English, but they were also doing different kind of activities, and it makes them really motivated. And another important point is we have to get personal. What is that? We have to learn about our students. It's really important that we listen to them, that we care about their feelings, that we care about their problems if they have some problems at home, because sometimes they come so exhausted to our classroom that they are not able to learn what we are supposed to teach them. And then sometimes we have to stop everything and listen to them, listen to what they are thinking, listen to what they are willing to learn, because sometimes we teachers, we just have our plan and then we get to classes, we are there ready with our books. So today we have to work from page 10 to page 18. It doesn't matter if they are tired, it doesn't matter if something is happening to their lives. So we have to get it personal. We have to learn about our students. And something that I like doing, I like to stop my class sometimes and ask about my students how their week was, how was the day. And then when we stop and talk about their lives, they realize that I care about them. They realize that I am worried about their personal lives, and they get much more motivated because they know that I am there for them, not just for teaching the content that is on the book. And another way to motivate them is to recognize their efforts. If we recognize, if we tell them that we are happy with the thing that they have achieved, they will become much more confident and ready to learn. And something that I like doing that is really important is get real with projects.